Welcome to another deep dive. We're going to be talking about AI-powered predictive maintenance. And we've got a really interesting article here from the AR Journal. Imagine like knowing when a piece of equipment needs attention before it actually like breaks down.
Mhm.
That's what we're going to be diving into.
Yeah, moving from reactive fixes to like this more proactive, data-driven approach. It's really cool.
Yeah, I know a lot of our listeners are already pretty familiar with AI and stuff, but maybe you could just like give us a quick rundown, like what exactly is predictive maintenance?
So, traditionally maintenance has been kind of like a guessing game, right? Like
Mhm.
either you fix things after they break and then you end up with all this costly downtime,
Mm.
or you just have these like rigid schedules for checkups. And even then those might not even be necessary. So, predictive maintenance changes all that by using data and AI to kind of like forecast issues before they even happen.
Yeah, and I was reading through the article and they were talking about different types of AI working together in this whole process. And I thought it was really interesting, like the machine learning and then also like natural language processing even.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about the Internet of Things too.
Yeah, it's like you're putting together this
Mhm.
this high-tech detective team, right? So you've got the, machine learning algorithms and they're like the data detectives. They just sift through huge amounts of information just to spot patterns and anomalies that, we might miss.
So it's like it's not just crunching numbers, it's like it's finding clues in the data to like predict a failure.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where NLP comes in, natural language
Yeah.
processing. Because think about all the like the reports and the logs and even the manuals, in industrial settings. It's a ton of information.
Hmm.
And NLP can actually like extract insights from all that data.
Oh, wow. So it can like read through those really dense manuals.
Yeah, it can.
Okay. So we've got AI analyzing data. It's reading reports. But what about like real-time feedback? Where does the Internet of Things fit into all of this?
So that's where IoT sensors come in, right? So
Mm.
picture this, you've got sensors on all the equipment constantly monitoring things like temperature, vibration, pressure. All that real-time data gives you like a constant pulse on the equipment's health, right? And then it gives, all that extra information to the AI algorithms to work with.
Okay, so we've got like this system where AI is analyzing past trends. It's like going through reports and it's getting live updates from the equipment itself. But what does that actually mean for businesses? Like, what's the impact in the real world?
So the benefits are huge. By anticipating problems ahead of time, businesses can actually cut down on downtime and, all that lost productivity. Like imagine how much money a manufacturing plant loses every hour that their production is down. Predictive maintenance can really help avoid those situations.
That makes a lot of sense. But I mean, the article also mentions that there are some challenges, right? Like to actually get this technology set up. What are some of the hurdles that businesses face?
Well, one of the biggest ones is data. AI algorithms need good data. But if the data is incomplete or it's inconsistent or even like inaccurate, then the predictions aren't going to be reliable.
So it's like the old saying, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Exactly. And then there's also just the matter of integration. I mean, a lot of businesses have these systems that weren't built to work with AI. So integrating these new technologies can be, pretty tricky.
Yeah, it seems like there's a big need for people who can kind of bridge the gap between those older systems and all the new AI stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And of
Yeah.
course, there's always the initial cost of, implementing AI systems. It can be expensive up front.
Sure. I mean, it's kind of like any big technology shift, right? There's going to be a learning curve and there's going to be some cost involved. But you know, the article also highlights some specific industries that are really like thriving with this AI powered predictive maintenance. So let's talk about where it's making the biggest difference.
Well, I think one of the most, obvious examples is manufacturing. Like, imagine, this huge production line with tons of machines. AI can monitor every single machine,
Yeah.
analyzing the data to try and find potential failures and just optimizing everything. And all that leads to smoother operations, less downtime, and ultimately more profit.
So it's about making a more resilient and agile process.
Exactly. It helps manufacturers stay ahead of the game, keep those lines running.
Okay. What about transportation? I know the article mentioned that too.
Yeah, so transportation and logistics are all about keeping things moving, right? So you got these fleets of trucks, trains, even airplanes, and AI can analyze data from sensors on all those vehicles and then predict when maintenance is needed.
So it's like having like an AI co-pilot making sure everything runs smoothly.
Pretty much. Yeah. And, especially in industries where on-time performance is really important, that kind of predictability is super valuable.
Yeah. What about healthcare? It seems like AI could be really helpful there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, think about all the equipment hospitals use. Imaging machines, life support systems, all that. AI can actually monitor that equipment in real time and look for tiny little anomalies that could, cause a problem down the line.
So it's like having this guardian angel watching over all the machines.
You got it. And it's not even just about equipment maintenance. AI can analyze data on patients, staffing, and even resource usage, and it can help hospitals run more efficiently and just provide better care overall.
Wow. And speaking of like keeping things running, what about the energy sector? Seems like AI would be pretty important there too.
Yeah, the energy grid is another great example. Any disruption to the grid can have huge consequences. So AI can help prevent blackouts by monitoring equipment and, predicting potential failures before they happen.
So AI is helping keep the lights on, basically. That's great. So it sounds like this technology can be used in a lot of different areas, but what's next? I mean, what does the future hold for AI-powered predictive maintenance?
I mean, the future of AI-powered predictive maintenance it's really exciting. Like, we're just getting started.
Yeah, the article actually mentions these full-fledged self-optimizing systems. Like, what does that even mean? It sounds kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, it does sound futuristic, but it's, closer than you think. Like, we've been talking about AI predicting when things need maintenance. But self-optimizing systems, they can actually, like, make decisions on their own and take action without us even doing anything.
So instead of just telling us there's a problem, it can actually like adjust things or even fix things itself.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, let's say in a manufacturing plant, the AI sees that, a compressor is likely to fail, maybe in a week or something. So instead of waiting for someone to, like, come fix it,
Yeah.
it could just adjust the production schedule and make sure all the important orders that need that compressor, you know, those get done first.
Wow. So it's like the systems are developing their own intuition about the process.
Right. It's all about making systems that are more resilient, adaptable, and, just way more efficient. And, that brings us to another really cool development, edge computing.
Oh, yeah, edge computing. I remember the article mentioned that. Um, can you just remind me again, like what it is and why it matters for predictive maintenance?
So basically, instead of sending all the data from all the sensors and everything to like a big central cloud server to process, edge computing brings the processing power closer to the source. It's like having like little mini brains throughout the whole system that can make decisions, like right there on the spot.
So it's like decentralizing the decision so they can happen faster.
Exactly. And, that speed is super important for things that need to happen in real time. Like, think about self-driving cars. They can't wait for information to, like, go to the cloud and back, right? They need to make decisions immediately. Edge computing lets them do that.
Okay, that makes sense. And I guess it's even more important as we get to those self-optimizing systems we were talking about before.
Right.
Like faster processing means they can react quicker.
For sure. The faster we can process the data and make decisions, the better those systems can work. And speaking of speed, we can't forget about 5G.
Oh, right, 5G. The article said it was a really important part of this whole thing. How does it fit in?
Well, 5G is all about speed and capacity. It's the next generation of wireless technology, and it's going to, like, totally change how we connect to things. With 5G, we can connect more devices, send way more data, and do it all way faster. Like, there's practically no lag.
So it's like we're upgrading the internet for like all the machines and equipment.
Exactly. With 5G, we can have this, like, constant stream of data between AI applications and the equipment they're monitoring. It's like essential for making decisions in real time and for letting those self-optimizing systems work the way they should.
Okay, so we've got edge computing to process the data faster and 5G so it can travel faster. But with all that data, like, how do we even keep up with it all? How can we understand what's going on?
Well, that's where these augmented decision-making dashboards come in. They're these really cool tools that are way more advanced than the old dashboards. Like, they don't just show you raw data. They give you insights, predictions, and even recommendations.
So instead of just giving us a bunch of numbers, they actually help us make decisions.
Exactly. It's like having like an AI advisor helping you figure out the data, see patterns, and anticipate problems. And they're getting easier to use all the time, so it's not as overwhelming for us to try and understand everything.
That's really cool. It's amazing to think about how we can optimize entire systems with this technology. But, what about the people who are already doing maintenance work? Are their jobs going to disappear?
That's a good question. And it's something we need to think carefully about. But, AI isn't about replacing people completely. It's about giving us new tools so we can focus on things that require, like, creativity, problem solving, critical thinking.
So instead of just fixing things, we'll be working with AI to do it better.
Exactly. Technicians can use AI tools to diagnose problems faster and make repairs more efficiently. It's all about working together to get the best results.
That makes sense. So we've covered a lot of ground, from the basics of predictive maintenance to these really futuristic ideas like self-optimizing systems, edge computing, 5G, and these augmented decision-making dashboards. It seems like we're at the beginning of a huge shift in a lot of different industries. But before we wrap up, I think it would be really interesting to hear some real-world examples of how this technology is being used right now. So let's get into some of those examples. The article talks about a bunch of industries that are already seeing big changes with AI-powered predictive maintenance.
Manufacturing is a big one. You were saying how you've had trouble with, unexpected downtime at your factory. Well, imagine an AI system that's constantly monitoring every machine on your production line, gathering data on, temperature, vibration, energy use,
It
everything.
was like a constant health check for all the equipment.
Yeah, exactly. And by analyzing all that data, the AI can actually predict when something's likely to fail, like way before it actually happens. Let's say it sees that a compressor is going to fail in like a week. It could automatically adjust the production schedule so you can get all the orders that need that compressor, done before it goes down.
Wow, that's amazing. So instead of just reacting to problems, you can actually get ahead of them and keep everything running smoothly.
Exactly. And it's not just about preventing breakdowns either. AI can actually help optimize the whole production schedule, make sure the machines are running as efficiently as possible, make sure you're producing things in the most cost-effective way.
So it's like having an AI manager making sure everything runs as smoothly as possible.
Pretty much. It's a huge game changer for manufacturers.
Definitely. What about other industries? I know the article talked about transportation too.
Oh, yeah. Transportation is another great example. All those fleets of trucks and trains and airplanes, they're constantly on the move.
Uh,
AI can use data from sensors on those vehicles to predict when maintenance is needed so you can avoid breakdowns on the road or in the air.
that would be huge for companies that rely on on-time deliveries and stuff like that.
Totally. Think about a logistics company, right?
Mm.
They can use AI to figure out when a truck's brakes are going to need replacing, and then they can schedule the maintenance for a time that won't disrupt their deliveries. So everyone's happy.
It's like having a crystal ball for all your vehicles.
That's a good way to put it.
So we've talked about manufacturing, transportation. What about healthcare? The stakes are pretty high there.
Yeah, healthcare is another area where this technology is already having a big impact. Hospitals use tons of really complex, expensive equipment, and any downtime can be a really serious problem.
Yeah.
Imagine an AI monitoring, like a heart-lung machine. It could spot these tiny little signs that something's not quite right, maybe a problem that's going to happen later on, and then they can fix it before it becomes a big issue.
So it's like a guardian angel watching over the machines, making sure they're always ready to go.
Exactly. And it's not even just about the equipment. AI can also look at data about patients, like how many are being admitted, how many staff are available, stuff like that. And it can help hospitals figure out how to use their resources more effectively.
That's amazing. So it's not just about keeping the machines running, it's about improving patient care overall.
Right.
We talked about energy earlier, and I know that's another area where reliable equipment is super important.
Absolutely. Think about the power grid. Any disruption can cause huge problems. But AI can actually monitor the entire grid using thousands of sensors, and it can predict when an outage might happen.
That's good to know. But besides just predicting failures, are there other ways AI is being used in energy?
Oh yeah, for sure. It can actually optimize energy production and distribution.
Yeah.
Like you can look at how much solar and wind power is being generated and then tell the grid operators to adjust things so there's always enough power, even when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing.
That's really cool. So AI is helping us make the transition to, cleaner energy sources. It's amazing to think about all the different ways this technology is being used.
Yeah, and we're really just getting started. AI is constantly evolving, so I think we're going to see even more amazing applications in the future.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into AI-powered predictive maintenance. We've talked about how it works, what the potential is, and how it's already making a difference in the real world.
Yeah, it's clear that this technology is going to change a lot of industries. We're going to see machines that are more reliable, processes that are more efficient, and a more sustainable way of using resources.
And as we move into this future with AI, I think it's really important to remember that technology is a tool, and it's up to us to make sure we use it in a responsible way.
Absolutely. We need to be aware of the potential downsides of AI, but I think if we use it wisely, it can really help us create a better future.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.